Hey everyone, welcome into the K0LWC Ham Shack. Today we're taking a review of the Kenwood D74. Now I've had this radio for quite a few years. I really didn't need to buy it when I did. I just wanted it. I did like playing with APRS quite a bit at the time, and I wanted a really solid APRS radio, so I went ahead and bought it. As you can see, I got a few more in the background, so I didn't necessarily need this one, but maybe that's just my wife and her coming through and channeling through on this video. You know, this radio is really great for anybody that wants a Cadillac radio, a high-end, feature-packed radio, and it's a really gorgeous radio at that. It's probably not the best if you're looking for a rugged radio, if you're looking for something more cost-effective, obviously, definitely not the rig for you. Now let's get into the pros of this radio, and there are a lot of them. One of the things that you'll love about this radio is a true tri-band radio, meaning it's got full power output on 220. Some radios today, you find that they give you a very limited power output on 220. This gives you full power. It's also a true dual VFO, meaning if you want to have a VFO up here on VHF, VHF, UHF, UHF, or VHF, UHF, you can do it on the Kenwood D74. Some radios will not let you do VHF up on top and UHF on the bottom. Not the case with this radio. Another cool aspect of this radio is it does HF. Yes, it has a wideband receive. You can do FM broadcast and HF, and on HF you can receive CW or single sideband. Yes, you can actually hook this up to a wire if you're out camping and tune in to your favorite net that you want to listen to and catch up on. So you can do USB, LSB. You can even actually pick up HF with this little rubber and duck. It doesn't do well, obviously. It's only the strongest of HF signals are you going to pick up on this, but it actually does work. Now, another strong suit to this radio is transmitted audio quality. Of all the radios that I own for HTs, it also has the best transmitted audio. I've tested it against my Yaesu VX6, my Anytone 878, my FT1D, and it still is king of audio. Some radios tend to struggle with sounding really hollow or really tinny. Not this one. This radio sounds amazing for the folks that you'll be talking to. Now, another nice benefit is if you want to use Vox, if you're somebody that really is into voice activation, you don't need any other hardware for Vox to work on this radio. Some radio manufacturers like ICOM, sorry ICOM, don't look at this radio, they actually make you buy an additional piece of hardware. It's the old Apple strategy. Not this one. This works right out of the box for Vox. Now, you've been seeing it here on the screen, and it's actually one of the best features of this radio, APRS. I can remember standing on the rim of the Grand Canyon, and I was receiving packets from a digipeater like 80, 90 miles away in southern Utah. Now, again, there are some mountains involved if you've ever been out in that part of the country. However, I was surprised. I was shocked. I was like, wow. I mean, this thing is decoding packets that I'm getting at about S4, S5 reliably over a long distance. The receiver on this radio is really strong. I've tested it against my Anytone D878. Now, don't start flaming me if you watch the video. I got a lot of flack that I tested these two receivers, but it wasn't a scientific test. It was just a out-of-the-pocket test where each had the lowest squelch setting. And God forbid I touched the monitor button on the radio after the squelch had broken open to keep it coming through for the audio. But this has a superb receiver. I've tested it again and again and again. This has the best receiver of any HT that I own. And again, that goes for APRS. The receiver is very sensitive and good, and the actual modem inside in terms of what it can do in decoding packets and the data that comes through is really, really solid. You are not going to miss a lot of packets on this radio. Now, you knew there was going to be some cons to this video, and there are some cons and some observations that you may need to take into consideration. Now, first and foremost, if you're into satellites, if you're into working the International Space Station, you may not want to choose this radio. Even if it sounds enticing to you in the future, this does not have full duplex. So full duplex is almost a necessity if you're going to work SATs when it comes to HTs, meaning you can hear yourself in real time as you're transmitting on the radio. This radio does not have that. Now we have to talk about the size of the radio. Now, it's not a gigantic radio, but this radio is a little bit larger than some of the HTs you're going to find on the market today. It's a little bit taller and just a little bit wider. It's not too wide, but definitely about a 1/2 to 3/4 inch taller, so it's not a small radio. If I grab my VX6, you can kind of see a little bit of a comparison in size. So don't expect this radio to basically be hidden on your belt. It definitely has some size to it. The next thing I don't like as well in terms of the case of the radio is the belt clip. The belt clip is not very deep. This is probably about 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches. So it doesn't feel sturdy at times. It's not super bad. It's not like it's a problem. It's just I wish it was a deeper belt clip that made it feel a little bit more secure. It has good tension. It's just really shallow. So I always get nervous. You know, when you have $500 or $600 hanging off your hip, you tend to be a little nervous about stuff like that. The next thing is the speaker. The speaker here in the bottom left corner, if you can see, it's pretty tiny. It gets very loud, but in terms of the sound quality, it comes across a little tinny and a little on the high side. So if you're looking for a rich, more bassy receive audio, it's a little bit more pleasant to listen to, this is probably not the radio for you. A little high-pitched, a little tinny, but it still gets very loud considering the size of the speaker. And next, another con, you can probably tell here as I turn the camera towards my light, the screen is easily scratched on this radio. If you're someone that gets really, really anal about that, you're not going to like the screen on this radio. It doesn't take much to scratch it. I've never dropped it or put it into a toolbox or you name it, but you can see the screen there. It's just from normal throwing it around the house use, you know, it gets scratched. So that begs the question, doesn't it? Would I buy the D74 again? And I gotta say, I would buy this radio again in a heartbeat. I think it's a phenomenal radio. I would not advise new hams buy this radio, but you get so much in one little radio. Well, not that little, but you know what I mean. You get so many features. You get single sideband, you get CW on HF, in addition to FM broadcast reception. You get dual VFOs that can do VHF and UHF. You get a phenomenal APRS radio that does an amazing job at encoding and decoding packets. You get a very good receiver, great transmit audio, and just tons of features. I would tell anyone else the same thing. Buy this radio. It's great, especially since it's been coming down in price. I think it was in the 6s when I bought it. Last I've seen, it's in the 5s. So this is a great radio. Just get yourself an extra battery and a rapid charger. That's the only caveat of what I would tell people. If you like this video, hit thumbs up down below. If you have a question, drop a comment and subscribe if you haven't already. So, I'll catch you again next time.